Hello, this is Victor, and I'm here with a new battle report. But first, I want to do an introduction to this battle report because battle report is a preparation for a tournament next weekend, and you will see that the mission and the rules we follow are quite are special and are dedicated to be compliant with the rules and the limitations that we have for this tournament. Also, the missions in that tournament are going to be very specific, so we wanted to test and try one of the missions to get more familiar with the way of playing. So it's called the Daring Dwelling Duos, and it's called duos because it's a team tournament where we have 2 players per side. The rules you will see here. I will just go through that. So we have to build 1,500 points between the 2 armies, and each army can so the army can go from 650 to 850. So that means that you have some freedom if you want to put more points in one of the 2 armies or the other. In our case, I'm using 740 points of Sisters of Battle, and my colleague is going to use 760 points of Space Marines. Of course, we are going to follow the 7th edition rules, and the exception is that we have to use combined arm detachment, but with the restrictions of 1 HQ and 1 troop as mandatory. No formations, no data slates, no gargantua, no super heavy creatures, and the fortifications allowed a sky shield, landing pad, bastion, and aegis defense line. What else? A stronghold is not allowed, escalation is not allowed, forge wood is not allowed. 1 warlord per team. So we have to decide. In our case, we decide that the warlord is going to be my son Celestine. And then all allies are considered allies of convenience, meaning that we cannot use allies in our armies, but between us we are going to be considered allies of convenience. So it means that you cannot use the transports of your colleague, and you cannot use psychic powers on the army of your colleague. You only can use the psychic powers on your own army and use your own transports. The team composition has to be composed of 2 factions. We cannot use the same faction in both armies, and we cannot use the children factions if we use and the main faction. So means I cannot use, for example, Scouts, Space Marines, and Black Legion, or I cannot use Tau and Farsight. This is not allowed. So you have to be 2 different codexes, and one should not depend on the other. All units are going to be unique except the troops. So all units entries are going to be 0-1, and the only except is going to be the troops that are going to be 0-3 instead of 0-1. Dedicated transports are not subject are subject to the rules 0-1. So you cannot spam rhinos, you cannot spam venoms or any other transport. And if you're using a unique character, it will count as a generic. So for example, if I use, as example here, if I use Eldrad, it's also counting as a Farseer. So I cannot use Eldrad and a Farseer in the same army. So this is to avoid any duplication by using the special character. I don't know if I use San Celestine if I will be able to use the Canoness, because are not exactly the same, but in principle this is the principle. So if you're using one special character, you cannot use the generic one. Also, the units that allow multiple units inside are restricted to 1 unit, and the only exception to that is the platoons from the Astra Militarum. For example, if you take Ministorum Priest, you only can take 1. You cannot take 3, as it's stated in the codex. Okay, so this try to restrict everything. The scores are going to be in that way. So if you win by these are the different scores that you can do during the championship. And then all the missions are going to be composed of eternal war missions. So we are going to have In mission 1, the scoring, and with Dawn of War, big guns never tire and hammer and anvil, and emperors will among one strike. But these are not going to be the only ways. We're also going to use the milestone of war adapted, and we'll explain it in one. And there are going to be also the extra points like line breaker, first blood, and if you have any warlord trait or any rule that is giving you some extra victory points. So these are very strict rules on how we are going to do the setup of the missions, how what you have to roll in each time. And then we go to the drawing is going to be quite interesting. First, randomly we are going to put the list of all the teams, and then the first team in the list will choose against who wants to play. Once this is going to be in the first round, it's random, but then in the second round, the one that is at the bottom of in points are going to decide against who wants to play, and in that way, instead of making the pairings given by the tournament organizers, each one can be able to challenge the opponent if you're not challenged before. Right, and one interesting thing is that the prizes are going to be random and only for the 5 players with the best painted army. So this is going to be interesting. It seems that there is no prize for the winner. It's more focused on the hobby and enjoying the day than on being the best general. Is more on as you see there. So what are the milestones adapted? So instead of having the deck, you have all these missions active from the first turn. Okay, and then at the beginning of the battle, you can discard, each team can discard one of the missions. For example, I can discard slay the warlord, so nobody can do this scoring by slaying the warlord. Another one can discard with the hunter, so nobody can score if you discard this one. What is interesting, for example, imagine that I have I have witches, I have a mage, but my opponent doesn't have any seeker. I will consider to discard with the hunter, because he can score for me, but I will not be able to score for him. And I imagine that my opponent have flyers, but I don't have any, so he will most likely score the skies. The points are fixed; they are not random points, and you can score 2 of these objectives each turn. And some objectives cannot be scored in the first turn, so you cannot secure objectives on the first turn, and you cannot have supremacy on the first turn. The other one can be scored from the first turn. So what that means, for example, imagine that at the end of turn 1 I kill a psyker and I kill a character, I will score 2 points. And then let's go to the next turn, and I can score each time that I do one mission, and the missions can only be done once. So when you score the objective 1, you will not score multiple times the objective 1. I think it's quite interesting way to do it, and will give an interesting touch to the battle. Then we have Eternal War. Eternal War is we are going to score depending on the mission, as it states in the rulebook. And then we have the extra points that are going to be line breaker, first blood, and then we have the extra points if you have, and then by kill points. So if you score 2 more kill points than the opponent, then you do 2 plus points, and you do 1 point. If you have kill 4 plus than the opponent, then you get 2 points. And I guess here there is a mistake, should be 3 if you kill 6 more kill points of the opponent. So it's a mixture of all these. You add the points here, and at the end you have the score of the battle. So you see a lot of things to take into account during the battle, a lot of different points that you can get, and you have to take into account that you don't have only Eternal War mission and additional points. You will have to take a lot of things into account. So mobility is going to be key, and also to have a flexible armor that can army that can do several things are going to be important to be able to score all these different points. So based on that, we did our army. As I said before, our army is composed of Space Marines and Sisters of Battle. I'm going to do this a little bit bigger to be easier for you to read. So Space Marines will have a Librarian, Mastery Level 2 in Terminator. Then we have Tactical Marines, and 10 Tactical Marines with Veteran Sergeant, Plasma Pistol, Las Cannon, and Melta Gun in a drop pod. Then we will have a Terminator Squad, Assault Terminator Squad with Thunder Hammer and Storm Shields, 3 Thunder Hammers and Storm Shields, and 2 Lightning Claws. A unit of Centurions, the ones with Heavy Bolter and Stone Bolters, or what is called the Hurricane Bolters, sorry. And then we have the drop pod. These are 700, indeed they are going to be 760 points because we add the Teleport Homer here at the end. Okay, and then from the Sisters of Battles I will use St. Celestine. Then we will have the Battle Sister Squads with Meltagun, Multi-Meltan. I will not have the Simulacrum Imperialis, so it's going to be 140 points. Then I will use the Seraphine with one extra Seraphine with one with Hand Flammers and another with Inferno Pistols, the Seraphine Superior and with Power Weapon and Melta Bombs. This will give a total of 160 points. We are going to have a Dominion with 4 Melta Guns and 1 Plasma Pistol, an Exorcist and Immolator. So the idea is the Space Marines will have the Deep Strike, so this Deep Strike the half of the Tactical with the Teleport Homer, and then they can guide the Terminators. These are going to do a quite disruptive attack to the enemy, while I also use the mobility of the Seraphins and Dominions to try to hold some objectives. The Exorcist will give a very nice supporting fire, and the Librarian, we are thinking to use Telepathy to be able to use benedictions and different psychic powers and to increase the resistance of the Centurion squad. So this is our armies, and now I will share with you, or I will share with you a short battle report of the battle that we did today, just to practice these missions that have a lot of different things to take into account, and also to see how our armies can work. I know that here we will not know the interaction with the other army, but we'll give idea what can be the strong points and the weak points of our units. So now this is a little bit the introduction, and let's enjoy the battle. So we are going to play 740 points of Sisters of Battles against 760 points of Space Marines. I hope you find this battle interesting, and let's go. So after my explanation on tournament rules and the list, here we are playing just my 750 points of Sisters of Battle versus the 750 points of Space Marines that we are going to use in the next tournament, just to test the tournament rules. So we put all the objectives, so there's a lot of objectives all over the terrain, and here we deployed, as you can see, I deployed here the Seraphim with the St. Celestine inside. I did the scout movement of the Dominus, and here I have the Battle Sisters plus the Exorcist. He deployed one of the combat squads of the troops, and then he deployed the Centurions with the Psyker there, and leave in reserve the drop pod with the rest of the combat squad and the 5 Terminators. He has the first. The Marines have the initiative, so they will do the first turn, and we'll start the game. And just is to try the list, and it's more to try the rules of this tournament. So it's going to be quite a strange battle setup. So I will be back at the end of the turn 1. At the end of turn 1 from Space Marines, the drop pod came from reserve. Land here, they disembark. They use a Melta gun and a plasma pistol against the vehicle. He's been very unlucky, and none of the weapons hit the vehicle. He overhit the the plasma pistol, but at least he didn't get the wound. And then this Centurion just moved, tried to shoot to the vehicle. they did a glancing, but because I'm half obscured by the building, I did my cover. So no damage from the, and then the last gun shoot to the exorcist with no further damage. So now we go into turn 1 for the sisters. We are now at the end of turn 1 for the Sisters of Battle. Have been quite a good turn. If you can see here, the drop pod is not anymore there, and it's not the combat squad. What I did is I moved, as you can see, the Seraphins to be in range to assault. I shoot the Seraphins to the squad, and then I assault them, and I kill the Sergeant that was the remaining survival. I use the Heavy Flamer to do casualties also as well on the Space Marines, and then the Dominus or the Dominion, and just fire everything on the drop pod, and one of the Melta guns destroyed the drop pod. Here I just move forward with the Sisters of Battles, and this guy remain at my back to give supporting fire. So I scored 3 points, 1 for first blood, 1 for killing a vehicle, and 1 for killing a character. And now we go to turn 2 for the Space Marines. Let's see if the Terminators are coming from reserve. They arrive from reserve, so the Terminators will arrive from reserve, and we go into turn 2 for the Space Marines. At the end of turn 2 for the Space Marines, the Terminators drop here, and they just run backwards to be out of range of the Melta weapons, or try to avoid the Melta weapons. Here we have the Centurions just move a little bit to the flank and shoot to the vehicle and scrap 1 hull point from the vehicle. And that's all. The shooting from this unit was on the Seraphins. They did 2 wounds with the bolter, the last gun missed 2 wounds, and I passed my armor service. So they scored 1 point because they're controlling the objective number 6, and they scored this point, and now we go into turn 2 for the Sisters of Battle. At the end of turn 2 for the Sisters of Battle, I just move all my units to this flank here, you see, to be far from the Terminators. I shot all what I can on the Centurions, and I killed 1 Centurion and a half. And then here, the shooting to the Terminators didn't manage to penetrate the armor. So, and I scored 2 points because I control objective number 5, and I controlling objective number 4. So now we go into turn 3 for the Space Marines. We are now at the end of turn 3 for the Space Marines, and they try to concentrate the troops in that side. So they shoot to the Dominion, and they kill them all except the Sergeant. And then there was some, the Psychic Rig from the Psyker make 2 wounds to the St. Celestine and kill 1 of the Seraphins. The other shooting, the last cannon tried to shoot to the Immolator, but I did the cover save because he was shooting through his troops. So he couldn't score any point, and now we still are 5-1. We will start turn 3 for the Sisters of Battle, but now seems that the Space Marines are adding some pressure to the Sisters of Battle, and killing this Dominion is giving some advantage to them. At the end of the Sisters of Battle turn 3, what I did is I back up with more of my units. You see the Seraphins just move back, and the Immolator also move back. And in the other flank, I move the Sisters of Battle to the front. I did only shooting on that flank, the Sisters of Battle to the Space Marines, and the Exorcist. I killed 2 Marines, they passed the leadership test, and that's all. I scored 2 points because now I'm controlling objective 2. And the objective 3. We are 7-1. The end of the turn 4 for the Sisters of Battle. 4 or 5? 4. At the end of turn 4 for Sisters of Battle, I move this vehicle from this objective to here, and then I just move a little bit this vehicle to this point to have good line of shooting with the Terminators. I shot the Exorcist and the Sisters of Battle to the Terminators. Exorcist killed just one Terminator, and the Sisters of Battle killed 2 or 3. 2, I think. 2. Because they were 4. Here I moved the Seraphims ahead to be in range of the pistols and of the Inferno pistol, and I killed just the Centurion with the Inferno pistol. So we are at the end of the turn 4, and we go to turn 5 for the Space Marines. There have not been any change in the score because I didn't score any of the mission points this turn. End of turn 5 for the Space Marines. The Psyker move ahead and charge to the Seraphims, and here the Terminator just move back, try to assault the Sisters of Battle here. And now we go into the turn 5 for the Sisters of Battle. This is the end of the turn 5 for the Sisters of Battle, and what I moved this a little bit ahead to be in short range for this bolter, and I just moved this to be able to control these objectives. So by controlling these 2 objectives I had supremacy and I was scoring 2 points, and then in that flank I shoot everything to the Librarian. He passed all the saves, and then I saw him in close combat and we didn't want each other, so we just are stuck in combat. So we are now at the end of turn 5. I scored 2 more points. We are 9-1 and the battle continues. Here at the end of the battle, just at the end of the turn 6, we decided to stop the battle here. We didn't throw for X turn. So here at the end, they remain in combat. We didn't manage to wound each other. It has a staff, so the staff didn't manage to penetrate the armor of the Celestine, and the Celestine didn't manage to penetrate the armor of the Terminator. At the end I was controlling because remember that it's double mission, and then we have also the Eternal Wars mission, so I was controlling, we were having the mission that we have objectives with different scores, so I was controlling the 4, the 3, and here the 2, so at the end the score was 18-1. Here the shots of bolter managed to kill 2 of the Space Marines. I have to say that for me the unit that did less in all this battle was the Exorcist, and the unit that did most of the damage was the Dominon in that battle, and the Seraphims. We are going to play together in the tournament because it's a team's tournament, and we think the Space Marines are not compensated to hold objective, and I have more units and more mobility, so because we split our roles in the battle, that the Space Marines are going to be more the shock units, and I will dedicate more to score and try to flank the enemy. So let's see next weekend how the battle goes, and this is finishing the battle report for this time. So thanks a lot for watching this video, and see you again later. Bye.